Hey guys, welcome back to another chat session with Nicholas again. So we do have this weekly chat, not weekly, we do it monthly chat session where we just talk about different things. So oh my god, why did I talk about last week? I've been doing too many weekly videos, so this just rolls off my tongue. Last month we actually talked about goal setting. So this month we're gonna talk about confidence because he put out a video on self-esteem, and I'm also very into the confidence kind of thing. I'm looking to just improve your confidence and whatnot. So, and I'm an extrovert. So a lot of people say, you don't know what it feels like as an introvert to be non-confident. You can just go out and speak to everyone and it's just easy for you. But what about for introverts kind of thing? So yeah, Nicholas over here, actually he is an introvert. I didn't think so, but he actually is an introvert. So can you just share with me on a bit of like insights in how introverts think and yeah, the perspective of an introvert?
Yeah. Hey, well, nice to be here. Nice to chat again. I think I don't know. I was thinking just like 1 month flew by so fast, but it's
I did
nice
like
to.
4 videos in between.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Yeah. So I think today's theme we're talking about is more like self-confidence, and we're starting a bit on introvert and extrovert. I think I want to help differentiate anyone listening to this, differentiate the meaning of both. So the very simple analogy I tell people, like, what do you mean that I'm an introvert? An introvert is someone who wakes up with a certain energy level. I like to call it coins. So let's say I wake up with 5 coins, and every interaction I make with someone, I lose 1 coin. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, for example. And then once my coins are used up for the day, I'm done. I don't really want to
I don't want to
be.
see.
Yeah, I don't want
I'm
to
just
see
going to go
people.
home and
Yeah, of course, out of necessity, sometimes I have to, but that leaves, the more I do that, the more burnt out I become. Whereas an extrovert is the opposite. Extroverts get a coin for every person they
yeah,
talk
we
to.
thrive on. So
I,
okay, since you're talking about extrovert, I'll just share my experience,
yeah, go for it.
especially in lockdown. So you're not interacting with anyone the whole day. So you actually get tired as the day goes. You just get bored out of your fucking mind. And yeah, so this kind of chat sessions actually makes me more energized. So I like to speak to people throughout the day, especially gaming. Gaming helps because you're actually interacting with your friends, and that's the social coins that you mentioned. But yeah, this is from an extrovert's perspective. Yeah.
For me, I mean, I won't lie, it's nice. There's a lot less interacting I got to do. Get to be in my room more. Get to be in my home. Um, just saving the energy for important things like this chat. I've saved that 1 last coin for tonight.
Oh, I'm honored.
So I'm ready for it. Oh, there's a fine line. There's of course a fine line. Extroverts will feel it more because they're not used to it. But that fine line is between when you're so detached from society, and then it can lead to anxiety, a little bit of depressive thoughts, maybe. So, I mean, we're all in lockdown now, so we have to learn to manage it. Well, always be in touch with
Definitely.
people. I mean, I appreciate the quiet time, but I do make it a point to try to have chats, have conversations
I
as
mean,
well.
humans, we all are. I always hear this: humans, we are social animals. So we no matter how we need to socialize with people, you can't go like forever.
Cannot. Cannot.
You're not meant for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, mentioning as introvert. So you said out of necessity. So does that mean if you are put in a certain situation, your confidence will grow? And how does one as an introvert actually gain the confidence to be like you, to come out and be able to speak and able to manage your energy, right?
I think I first want to start off that, like, I didn't start off this way. I was not born like that. With the characteristics I have now, like in school, it was very tough for me because I think in school, if you're an introvert, you're like a loser. I think sometimes it's
Kind of.
hard to make friends. You're not popular. You don't stand out. You feel weird for it. Feel weird for being you, like how I was. It was hard. I just stuck through it, went through it. Building self-confidence as an introvert is a much more delicate process because from what I know from introverted friends I have, introverted people I've worked with, I have to coach, it's a very fragile line. If you break it, then that person may go into a deeper slump of, oh, I don't think I can do it. But reality is in the modern world that um, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. I think that's what I believe. So your social interactions are very important. So improving your self-confidence to be able to talk to more people is very important to me. I realized that thankfully very young that I had to do it. Um, how I did it was at first just mimicking others. And I'll give context into my job. So I started as a personal trainer, and my two other colleagues I had at that time were very social people, and I was not. But because I was surrounded in the environment, I felt that was the norm, and I had to get out of my comfort zone. You know, I would lose out. Not to say that I would lose my job, but okay, I want to perform well, so I had to step out of this comfort zone. It wasn't easy. What helped was doing the tasks with them, like talking to members, talking to new clients, talking to potential gym members, and just accepting it as part of the process. And eventually, it became more of a norm to me. And of course, I am jealous that extroverted people don't feel tired from it, because I feel very tired. I have to be very selective to the people I talk to. But building self-confidence in that sense really means taking it one step at a time. Why don't you give me some context of like what kind of self-confidence you want to improve as an introvert, then I can give you more thoughts.
Actually, most of the time when you approach an introvert and they will say what their problem is actually going out and meeting people is the first interaction. So I mean, as an introvert, like what I can do is I'm always, I can DM. Okay, easiest way is, let's say I DM someone. It's very easy for me. Hey, what's up? I'd like to collab on you or something like this, and I can just send it out. I wouldn't be so thinking so much about it. In face-to-face situations, I'd be like, just go up and hi. So I'm Elton. How are you? And the name and so what depends on the situation and where you are. So it's easier for me to strike out a conversation. But the most feedback that I get from introvert friends is, I don't really want to come out of my friend circle and okay lah, you do lah, it's okay lah, you do lah. You intro for me lah, okay lah. And they feel safer that way in a sense. And I don't blame them, because sometimes if it's too big of a venue, I also feel the same way. Yeah. So in that kind of context.
So more like reaching out and just talking to people, maybe.
I feel like that's the most basic starting point as an introvert to actually socialize and connect more with other people.
You know what introverts really fear about these situations is fear of rejection. You know, why we introverts like to speak with other introverts or people within our circle group, our same circle and same interests, because we feel, oh, okay, these people can connect with what we think and what we feel. So, all right, we're just going to stay here. That's nice. But whereas we could be scared, like, oh, what if this other people doesn't think I'm interesting? Because introverts already get the notion that, oh, you know, they're boring, they're not outgoing, all these kind of labels put on them. It gets really hard. So everyone listening to this, you know, you gotta like a mantra I like to do is like, you know, just close your eyes and then you tell yourself that, you know, I am interesting and I am living my full life to my fullest, really. That way, that's what I use for myself, so that I don't have to worry about, okay, what is this guy is going to think about me if I talk to him just because I'm introverted. I'm living my life, my fulfilled life, and I'm going to show him that I'm interested in him, and he ought to do the same. So
that's actually a very, very good starting point. Like, I feel like for us, it's more of just go and whack on it lah. Can I whack back? Then can I whack back? It's okay, I move on. And yeah, but that's one thing that we gotta think about also. When
did you realize, like, when if the common pattern of what introverts say is like, oh, they say, oh no, I don't want to talk, I don't think they want to listen to me. That's because it's their own limiting belief. They think that as an introvert, you know, they don't want to step out. They think they're going to get rejected just because they're introverted already. And then, you know, I understand that because it's come from many years of social labeling, unconscious things people do, you know.
I feel like it's also extroverts that kind of isolate them. Like, one, especially with introverts in your group, sometimes you tend to just go and do your business and and they get left out because you are doing a thing. So like my group of friends, we have introverts, extroverts. We get along pretty well. And interesting fact, the interesting ones are the introverts. The extroverts are actually, I feel like we are the very basic. We do what everybody does kind of thing. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know, in an ideal world, maybe, I'm not saying all extroverts do this. Some extroverts, could be better, a bit more sensitive towards
Yeah, definitely.
the needs of certain introverts, and then that would help introverts, get out of their own shell a bit better.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we got to do our part in our own circles at least. Yeah, but that's how I've helped myself at least. I try to surround myself with people who are doing the same thing, and then, okay,
It's like what they say, you are who you surround yourself with.
Oh yeah, definitely. If I surrounded myself with 5 more people that who say, oh, okay, no one's going to listen to us what we talk about, and, all right, I'm going to end up thinking like that.
Yeah,
as well.
you're gonna keep to yourself also. Yeah, cool. But yeah, since we're talking about, let's say, extrovert and how they sometimes are in their own world of their own, do you see a difference? How do you judge the difference between someone who is confident and someone who is like overconfident? I feel that that's a very, very great area to be confident and overconfident and somewhat cocky in a sense. And do you become a narcissist in that term?
I think the easiest way to pinpoint, of course, it comes with experience. Narcissists speak too much about what they think they're good at, whereas confident people let their actions show it. It's always a fine line, of course, and I'm not saying it's not a black and white either. But usually narcissism and overconfidence and boasting comes from a place of insecurity or inconfidence. They need to
show that they are more than you.
Yes, they need to approve that they're looking for the approval. They're boasting about, hey, I'm good at this and good at that. I think we know a couple of people who are a little bit like that on the line as well. So it can't be helped sometimes.
Humble brag kind of thing. So is that kind of like
humble brag? It's the kind of guy in school who says, "Oh, I'm not so smart. I'm not that smart," but then he gets top in class. I don't know. Some people do it for fun. I think some people don't know that they're doing it.
But some people legit they know that they're good, but for them it's nothing very good to brag about, and they feel like embarrassed when people actually.
I mean, it depends what your notion, what your intention is. I know some people who do it and then there's no point in doing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do it just to make jokes out of it, but of course then I get to the serious point, like, okay, I tell myself, okay, I manage my time really well, haha, but then I help my friend, okay, here's how you do it, just to lighten up the mood, but yeah.
So it's actually very, I feel like once you're confident, like people think confident means speaking out and just being brash, but honestly, confidence is more of your inner, you know that you don't have to compare yourself to anyone else. That's what I feel is true confidence. You don't have to boast about it. You don't have to. Yeah, and what confident people do actually is empower other people to be more confident too. So that personally is what I think confidence is. Yeah,
you're right. No need for validation from other people. Yes, that is so important. It comes from a state of the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It comes from private victory. So private victory means you know that you are capable.
Exactly.
I think we can list out some examples to give the viewers some context. It's like, okay, like for yourself, how you keep yourself confident in a way is that, okay, you publicly announce that you want to stick to your 1 video a week for the rest of the year, and you've done it so far. So you know in your heart that yourself that I can do it. So that already makes you more confident in your ability to do it. And thereby the process compounds, it gets easier over time as well.
Yeah, actually that's actually a very good book. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's actually I did a workshop that day on this topic, and there's actually a book for teens. So if you're starting out, you can actually go check that out. It's very basic. Help actually uses that as their teaching material for the
okay.
foundation students. So we actually have a subject called personal development and leadership. So it's a very interesting subject that we have, and you actually have to read that whole book, and the whole semester is based on that book.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. So I
That's
feel
good.
like that's a very, very good start, and I feel like universities should implement this kind of things because that's what students actually need going into. They don't need, okay, they do need technical skills, but what they actually need is the confidence to go out. Let's say your interview or whatsoever, you're working with your colleagues. How do you interact? How do you socialize? How do you work well, win-win kind of thing with them? That's what we truly need to learn. Yeah.
Self-confidence really comes from a place of doing what you say you will do for
Mm.
yourself, not entirely with not involving anybody externally. Realize that the people who are not so confident in themselves are the kind of people who never do what they say they do. Like they say they're gonna read a book this year, but they never do it. They say they're gonna exercise, but they never do it. You can't lie. You think you're the easiest person to fool, but in your psyche, something deep within you can't lie to yourself, man. And then that manifests as a bit of pessimism, lack of self-confidence, and a bit on the extreme end, nihilism. People just don't care. I don't give a fuck about the world or anything really.
I never knew about that actually. Like now you talk about it, actually came to mind. Like your action actually breeds confidence because the more action you take, that means the more stuff you get done. And when you get stuff done, you feel that satisfaction.
Yes.
And that satisfaction grows, it becomes confidence. But yeah. I never actually thought about it in that sense. But that's very good.
And one way to overcome it, the thing is, people categorize it as losses. It's like, okay, let's say you made a promise to yourself that you're gonna work out more this year, but you don't end up doing that. You just avoid it. You don't talk about it, and there's hopefully no one heard you proclaiming that, and you can get on with your life. But you can't lie to yourself. Your
Exactly.
psyche knows. So every time you want to try something new, or you want to try working out again, it gets harder each time. So you realize the first thing I did when I talked to you was I told you straight up front that I'm taking a break from YouTube. Even though last month I said I'm going to make a YouTube video every week for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So I could have avoided the topic altogether, and just hopefully you didn't hear it. You didn't realize my incongruency. But I mean, I'm true to myself. I just say that, okay, I choose that this is something I won't do. And my conscience, it realizes that, okay, yeah, I've chosen it. I'm not avoiding it. I've chosen to step away from this responsibility because the reasons, I told myself.
Actually,
And
very, very big word over here is actually, I feel like it's accountability. Like you keeping yourself accountable is one of the biggest thing you can do for yourself. And it goes back to discipline also lah. So if let's say for me, I can't discipline myself to get work done, I'm gonna ask the hundreds of people that I let on my story, on my Instagram, on my YouTube to every time I do something, they'll be, hey, I thought you're doing this. Hey, I thought you're doing that. Hey, how come your video not out yet? That kind of thing.
okay, you get the public accountability onto yourself.
But that's good when you have a lot of friends in your support system, and they're always there for you, kind of thing.
Benefit of being an extrovert.
But let's say, what if you are to yourself? How do you keep yourself, let's say, accountable to that? That's you said your own psyche, but is there other ways to actually trick your mind into self accountability?
Yeah, especially when you want to start something new. You're scared because what if you fail? You don't want to tell someone that you started and you fail, right?
Yeah.
I think I did talk about it in our last chat. It was like, start with the smallest step possible, and that really does improve self-confidence as well. Simple things like, I don't know. I coach my clients this. It's like, especially certain obese clients who need to move. If not, it will be bad for their health. I coach them to just start walking first. So their ability to tell themselves that, hey, I can walk and take control of my health this way is enough, one step at a time. Hopefully that is the foundation for them to getting to do more exercises, be more conscious of their health. routine, so on, etc. So that's one way. I use fitness as one way to think about it. There's a quote, really like the people who don't lose weight or who are morbidly obese are the same people who don't believe that walking is the first step to reaching that goal. So I just believe in small steps, and if you have no one to keep yourself accountable, you have to keep yourself accountable with really small steps.
All right. So it's basically taking control of your life,
Yeah.
and that one tiny step at a time. Actually, yeah, I thought about this. One more thing about confidence is I feel like there's a misconception between the ability to speak and confidence. Generally, people think about confidence as people who can speak very well and can express their thoughts very well. But that's not necessarily true, because a lot of introverts that I know can actually speak very, very well. It's just that when it comes to speaking with other people, there's that mental block over there. What do you think about this?
I guess that leans a bit towards a little bit of public speaking, right? Little bit.
I mean, public speaking is a bit towards the next spectrum, but it's more of, they can speak very well, but let's say when I speak to you like this and I'm an introvert, I wouldn't be able to form my thoughts properly if we are not really close, kind of thing.
Okay.
It's the kind of awkward and...
Right. Okay. Oh, you mean new encounter?
Yeah.
Speech. Okay. All right.
Then only we move into the more public presentation, public speaking kind of thing.
Yeah. I say, probably cliche advice, but it's just practice. Good speakers or good conversationalists are either usually born extroverted, or people who have put work into their speaking well. Now, I guess one thing we can highlight about speaking, it's not about speaking a lot, because I think I know a lot of extroverts who can talk a lot, but
there's no content to it.
It's an empty can, a lot of noise, not much into it.
It's a half full can.
Oh yeah, half full, very noisy. So, if anything, the take-home message would be like, learn to speak with clarity. Learn to speak with clarity. Be concise with your speech, because in this day and age, especially, I think your audience is usually people around our age are slightly younger. When they grow up into the working world, how you ask for what you want and what you want to be is going to be so important. So clarity is, I've got some simple clarifying questions that people should ask more. It's more of like, I think number one is, what do you mean? Some people can just talk in the fog around their head.
It's never going to get to the point. It's just going around.
Imagine two people talking with a fog in front of them, and then like, what is going on?
You're never going to finish, kind of thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, okay, I've had more experience. I talk to a lot of people on a daily basis, so I can read people quicker. So very quickly, if I see someone with a fog in front of their face, I feel like, what do you mean? So it gets them to think a little bit, to be clear with their speech. Another thing I like to do is, for myself, is learning how to summarize thoughts. Thought processes. So I think if you notice, when I chat with you like this, I like to say the take-home message. So if no one's listening and just listen to one take-home message, then hopefully they take home that message. Yeah. So take-home message is like, okay, for this, just make a summary of, try to have a summary of your thoughts and then your speech as well. It's easier said than done, but you have to get active feedback from friends and from those around you, because
definitely,
honestly, in the working world, no one is going to be that helpful,
because everyone's your competition.
Yes,
that's the thing.
Yes.
Now people are genuinely friends with you. They genuinely care enough to criticize you, but when you go into the working world, everyone's a competition. They want you. I wouldn't say it's 100% or they want you to do bad, but it helps them if you're not performing as well.
Actually, I mean, quite frankly, it's going to be a whatever field of work you do, it's going to be because everyone graduates, everyone has a degree,
Definitely.
everyone's the same level playing field. You're the same with everyone, okay? And no one owes you anything when you go out to work. That's the reality of it. So one way to really stand out is the clarity of your speech. And don't mean you don't have to be good in English as well. You can just be concise with what you're saying, what you're thinking,
straight to the point.
and that would straight to the point. Don't attach too much emotions to it.
All right.
Yeah.
Actually, I found like as I do more YouTube, I want to speak better, convey better message to my audience. I'm also focusing a lot of intonation and kind of like how I pronounce certain words, clarity also in a sense. I felt like this helps. Like if you like to watch a lot of Netflix, I've been doing this. Like say, I watch an English show and then I will mimic whatever the person had said, kind of thing. Like let's say the person said, "Would you like to buy a house?" And I will just repeat that sentence exactly the same way as the person said it. So I'll just repeat it over and over. And it works for books also. You can just read it out loud, the same sentence. And I feel like this really, really helps over the past few months or so. Like pronunciation wise has improved. How you form your words and thoughts has improved. Because this is how movies, they tend to try to go straight to the point as much as possible if the person is actually not rambling. The person is not meant to be rambling around. So I feel like it's worth a try. What do you think about this?
Just repeating words from shows or books. Is that correct?
Yeah. Shows is more of the pronunciation and how do you just say it in a more proper tone. And then books is basically just your reading ability, your ability to put words together, to be more concise with your language. Yeah.
Let me see. I've never heard of that method before. So I mean, if it works for you, that's good. It's something is better than nothing.
I realized because as I watch, especially some movies with accents, I tend to pick up the accents in a sense, and then you just tone it back to how a Malaysian would speak, and like especially if I'm speaking with some of my friends from overseas, they have their slang or accent and everything. I would subconsciously tweak my speaking to their accent, like that they are speaking with a friend from New Zealand, and I spoke exactly the same as her accent, and I have to like, no, Elton, come back. So I was like, I'm sorry, I cannot. I'm not purposely trying to mimic you, but I'm just like, it's subconscious. So it helps in a sense that every time you tone it back, you won't be at the extreme of the accent, but you have a rather proper kind of grasp of English.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, English. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, in this world, there's no excuse to not be good in English because the access to English language should be. I mean, if you're listening to this chat, you probably have access to learning materials in English already. All right, so I'm just talking about this spectrum, but yeah, I think it's no excuse. To me, I think. Yeah, sometimes we can. I mean, being Malaysian, sometimes we end up copying the slangs of Western folks. That's okay as well, but you can just do it without needing to copy the slang. You just be clear in what you speak. I mean, to be honest, I know people, Westerners, speak great English, unclear what they say as well.
You don't understand what they're saying.
There's no point.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no point. If you can't get to the chase, there's really no point. Yeah.
So mainly it's just being concise, being just forming your words together, speaking in a sense properly, but it doesn't really have to follow certain kind of accent or anything. Does it help if you're speaking proper English? I mean, some people speak with a more Malaysian Chinese.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let's see. I don't think so because you can be concise. Words. They should be among the group of friends, the person who encourages other friends to be more clear. So if friends say something, oh, what do you mean? Can you tell me more? Why is that? So you create a social circle where clarity of speech is the norm. Eventually, your own clarity and speech and thinking.
Okay, so actually, this came to mind. we spoke a lot about confidence, introverts, everything, but why is being confident so important?
Why is being so confident important? Because people don't know how good you are at what you do unless you can show them how good you are at what you do.
All right,
So that's the
like,
reality of it. You have to be
exactly.
able to show. You have to be
That's
able
why I
to
always
show.
say, if you are a very, very good artist, let's just say artist, but you aren't going out connecting with people, you're not confident with what you're doing, no one's going to recognize you as a very, very good artist, even though you draw better than Picasso or some shit.
Yeah.
And we are in a world that is very, one, opinion based, and two, is very based on the extroverted worldview. That's what I think. So no matter how, we got to be put a bit of emphasis on confidence lah, as we mature.
Yeah, we cannot hide behind that shell forever.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to
definitely.
say, you shouldn't. I mean, if you're listening to this, you probably have the access to
Yeah,
people or things or materials to help improve your own self-confidence already as well. I mean, why? Because you owe it to yourself to be the best version of yourself,
definitely.
literally. I mean, come on, you don't study a degree, your parents pay for it, and then go out to work, and then you don't want to be the best version of yourself. No, I don't think that's acceptable.
Yeah,
You can be the best version of yourself. You asked why is it so important? It's because if you go back to the introvert extrovert topic, then I mean, whatever it is, an extrovert will have better showmanship than an introvert. Like an extrovert can put on a show better, but may not deliver the better product than the
definitely. I
introvert.
understand.
Maybe, I'm not saying all of it, but usually that's where the difference lies. And that's where introverts lose out. You could lose out in an interview because of this. You could lose out in a job promotion or getting in I don't know, just
Your dream
negotiations.
job kind
Yeah,
of thing.
dream job.
Getting what you want
Getting
out
what
of
you want.
a negotiation. And
Yes,
everything.
yes, exactly. So all these kind of things, you got to portray some level of confidence in what you do. And I mean, I'm in medicine, and quite frankly, I see that this topic of confidence is important because you got to show, your senior doctors or your patients that you got a
They
certain
can
level
trust in you.
you got a certain level of competency. You cannot. It's a bit of a mask, I know, but you got to put it on, especially if it's
Oh, sorry.
you gone.
Yeah, we can continue. I'm back. My camera died. Yeah.
What was the last sentence so we can cut it out nicely? Okay, I'll start with the medicine part again.
Yeah,
So,
it's the medicine part.
So like I'm in medicine, then as a junior doctor, you gotta show that to your senior doctors and your patients that you have a certain level of competency. It's a bit like a mask, I know. And a lot of people are doing it, putting on masks, and some people do it quite well. They put on that mask, they show they got it. It's enough for people to trust you. It's enough. Of course, you should back it up with good levels of being good at your job.
Yeah.
Whereas the people I see who don't fare so well, who always get stressed, are the ones that are always so anxious and can't show
It's kind of like being victimized all the time. Yeah, and I feel it's every industry is the same. You got to show that you can do it regardless. I mean, fake it till you make it, although it's cliche, but to get to where you want, you got to do a certain degree of faking confidence in a sense. Yeah.
You have to, because whatever your first job is, it's going to be your first job. So you can't say you have experience in that job, but you're going to have to act like you have experience in that job. And the people who succeed well later on in their careers and life are the ones who usually pull it off well. Okay, it's easier said than done. Again, need to emphasize, but all this comes from the other things we talked about today, like private victories, being clear with your speech and thinking. I mean, if you're doing, I don't know, let's say, my thoughts, let's say, not clear. Don't do that. There's no confidence.
It's okay, it's late.
Okay.
Schools.
So let's say in the it's a corporate world or office world, if if you're clear with your speech and thinking, your clients like you better because you appear more confident. They sign on with you better. You get more, I don't know, commission or work.
You
Your
build the
superiors,
relationship.
yes, your superiors view you better because this guy knows what he's thinking and talking about, and all that comes from private victories. People who are successful on the outside usually are very successful on the inside
Definitely
as well.
There's a lot of like what you say about when it comes to speaking, especially now. There's a lot of misinformation and miscommunication, which drives misinformation also. Me telling you one thing and then you interpreting something, one thing, and telling someone if your way of conveying messages are unconcise, you may convey in a different message to someone else, and that goes on and on. So
yeah, precisely. I mean, we gotta. I'm someone who always encourages people around me to speak clearly, and I make it a point because it's good for them.
Yeah.
It's not good for me. I don't.
You don't really learn anything from that.
Yeah, but it's good for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean that's pretty much the essence of it.
Yeah.
Really. Also, the world has become more of like, I don't know, stupid Instagram stories and TikTok and dancing.
Yeah.
That's the way. Is that how you talk now?
it's a very now our society now is very expressionist kind of. Like there's a lot of way you can convey your message, but the thing is everyone takes it differently. So it comes back to how do you walk the fine line between communicating what you want and other people receiving that information as what you convey it to them as, because people are entitled to their own thoughts.
Yes.
You saying one thing could mean confidence, but from another person's perspective could mean cockiness or being egoistic.
Yes.
And
so that's different levels of communication as well. As you get better at it, you'll be able to read people a little bit better. But I say, if anyone listening to this, just start with yourself.
Exactly.
Just start with a small thing you want to improve. That eventually will make you feel more confident. That will help you speak clearer. And come on, everyone here is good at something. I don't know what. Everyone here is good at something. Just start with that.
Exactly.
As well. Like Elton, you're good at speaking, meeting up with people. You're doing your thing well. So that's why you appear confident at it. For me, I like to coach people. I coach people, and that comes off. I give that vibe because I like what I do. Number one, and number two, because I do it well. Because I put the work into doing it well.
Yeah, it's all the small private victories that.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And
Right.
private victories are what people don't see. Private victories are what people don't see.
You don't post on Instagram. Today I spoke to my first person kind of thing. Today I read my first book. I wrote my first journal. Usually we don't post these kind of things. So it's within you. You know yourself what you have done.
Yes, that's right.
Confidence.
That's right. Precisely. You have to have private victories. So important. So important.
Because if you always rely on outside validation, what happens when that dries up?
And that always dries up.
Definitely.
How long does the Instagram story last?
It's like 24 hours.
24 hours. Is it, you're going to find it again? Find it again? No, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You got to come from within, really. Yeah.
Cool. Great chat. I feel like we've been going on. It's been about an hour. It's around 9:30 already.
Nice.
So do you have anything you want to... Actually, do you have anything you want to ask me from your side? I've been asking you the whole night.
Okay, cool. Let me think. Let's see. What you're doing is really cool. It's I don't know, your kind of work that you do, it needs to be in touch with a lot of people, looking to collab, looking to chat and all that. Why don't you tell some rejection stories?
Rejection stories mostly are just people that ignores my messages. So the stories sort of end there. That it's just like, hey, would you like to collaborate on this? Would you like to come on my podcast? And then there's just no response.
How do you handle rejection like that?
You just move on. There's so many other people. If that, like the who Jordan Belfort, he does a straight line. Wolf of Wall Street, that guy.
Okay.
If you're selling the stuff to the person, supply and demand, if that person is not willing to come onto your show, why would you want to bag that person? Why would you spend so much time on getting that person on your show if they don't want to come on in the first place? Might as well I spend some more time on building a relationship with someone else who would want to come on my show, and let's say we like this, we can speak golf so well, and it's with a lot of other people who can do the same. If I spend my time getting that one, let's say, very esteemed guest on my show, I might lose out on other 5 stories, and these 5 people stories might lead me to, they might connect me with someone else, and you never know. So I feel like don't waste your time on people who reject you.
Wow.
There's a lot out there, and go find, there's always someone, if you are okay, you are not bad, inherently bad, there are opportunities for you.
How did you develop this confidence or ability to tell yourself this such a young age?
Okay, I grew up playing basketball. I
Mhm.
was a terrible shooter. So I would shoot 1,000 bricks during a game. Not 1,000, that's over exaggerating, but I'll shoot a lot of bricks during a game. I missed throughout the whole game, but you got to score. I was the team captain and I was one of the main players. So you got to just put that behind. Miss is a miss. You're not going to get that back. What are you going to do on the next play? And that has transitioned into what I do right now. Someone ignoring my message would be just another missed layup, another missed shot. What I'm going to do on the next play. Yeah, that's the sort of mentality. I feel like sports people, we tend to have that because sports is full of setbacks. I mean, basketball, you miss shots. Football, you miss goals. You get red card. I mean, you know. So you get red card this game. What happens next game? You get suspended. You plan for the next game. Why are you going to do better? And yeah.
Wow.
So it's that kind of mentality that goes into it.
Nice. There you go, folks. I mean, that's the take-home message today.
Precise, concise, with purpose. And also mainly because I credit my coach a lot with this mentality, because he scolds the shit out of me. He doesn't care about my ego whatsoever. He scolds me until like you're pet C, they call you. And so now whenever anyone's come up to me or just reject me, I've dealt with worse. I've been scolded. I've been put until a position where I was so low. What can you do to me now which will make me feel that way again? I don't think so. Anything. If you ever seen my coach scold me, it's pure verbal abuse. Plus the training, everything is physical abuse on top of verbal abuse. But I really credit him. He really knows how to teach. You wouldn't know back then. You think it's just pure torture, but at the end of the day, that really helps. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I'd say like I'm at that kind of stage as well where I don't really care about external validation or rejection. But I mean you're 2 years younger, so if I was 2 years younger, I don't think I would have had that yet. So good on you. Seriously good on you.
And
really.
also because I played with the senior team. So I really have to, the seniors are always better than me. And I'm playing, let's say, a 6-man or something like that. So I always have the mentality that, okay, the thing is, if you are making, you make a mistake and you're with the senior team, you're very likely to get subbed out. So what you got to do is just block that thought out. Don't think about that. If I make a mistake, how am I going to play better in the next play? Hustle more, push more. It's, yeah, that's basically how I grew up.
So you just focus on what you can control.
Focus on what you can control.
Amazing.
And if it happened in the past, move on to the next play. Yeah.
Profound advice. I mean, really profound advice, but you sometimes our own advice is the ones that we don't take.
Yeah, definitely. It's not that, okay, that I have this mindset, but doesn't mean I don't ruminate on things that I did in the past.
Okay.
I'm always focusing on the next thing, but I might be thinking about the previous thing that happened, so that how do I not make that same mistake again? And why did I fuck up that shot? Why did I fuck up that chance? I texted this person. Why did she not reply me? Why did he not reply me? What can I do to better position myself so that in the future, if this person in this position I would like to approach this person in this position, they'll be more open to accept, let's say, whatever proposal. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
Because I'm young and not a lot of people were willing to work with someone who's way younger. Because what experience do you got?
Mm.
And I think, and I'm not like super famous or anything. I have no like credentials. Let's say 10,000 followers. I'm not super famous, so why would people work with me? So that's the thing I take into consideration.
Yeah, but you block that out of your head. You still focus on what you can control, what
Exactly.
you can do better.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, there we go. That's nice.
Actually, this cup looks cute on camera. I never thought about it. It's like the biggest cup I have in the house, so I just bring it around. Oh, yeah.
Okay, nice. I guess that's a wrap, isn't it?
I guess that's a wrap. Yeah.
Wrap. I need to arrange my books to make myself look intelligent.
Well, and then where's all my books? I used to prop up my camera in front already.